Hello guys, NautoAis here, and I want to give my thoughts on the state of play of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It is the second chapter for the remake of Final Fantasy VII, and for this state of play, oh boy, they give a lot of information. So if you're an Uber fan, chances are you're probably not watching and you're trying to avoid any spoilers or surprises. It is what it is, but for me, I'm like, whatever. I want to know what the new feature, what makes it better than remake, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts about it. So they give a lot of information, the final info about this game. So of course, they show what the map looks like. Yes, I have a feeling that it was sort of gonna be like a Breath of the Wild aspect when it comes to the world map. So rather than walking around with the world map, I have a feeling it's going to be like an open world. Probably just going to be sectioned, but who knows? Maybe it's a big world, again, like Breath of the Wild. But it is going to be now an open world. And I hate to say it, at this point on, it kind of makes more sense to make this JRPG into some sort of open world rather than a world map. It is what it is. So a lot of the features are from based on the classic, but they made an improvement. There are even some new features in the game. Of course, the special Chocobo breeding is back. Gold Saucer is back. The Bronco, which is a vehicle, along with a buggy. I can't remember what it's called. A lot of the characters are there. So this time around, Red and Yuffie is going to be now playable because in the other one, Red was a special character. In the case with Yuffie, you have to play the DLC. This time around, now they're actually now part of the main group and not optional anymore. So in this point on, Yuffie and to some extent Vincent are part of the story. And speaking of Vincent, yes, both Vincent and Sid will be now the new NPC. The new characters, like I said, for this one is Red, 12, Yuffie, and of course Cat Sid. And spoiler is basically Reeve, who I know, but the game is old. It's a remake for a reason with new storyline. So features, I have to say, it was pretty good. They're actually anti-up. More detailed for what it is, especially like the story. Now it's more like, oh, I understand what it is now than you play the PlayStation version. So that's going to be interesting there. A lot of the mini games have been improved, especially even now. I think from what I understand, like the battle system. Now you can do like double team attack. Again, that was featured in the DLC for remake. And overall, the stories, again, because of the voice, I know it's cinematic, but that's what Final Fantasy VII Remake is. They are going to a cinematic style rather than gameplay, but there is still gameplay there. The game's going to be long from what I understand, that's what they said. So are there some changes that people are not happy? Well, I read this on the internet. Apparently one of them is the infamous orthopedic panties for Tifa, which is if you play the backstory, there was an item that you can get as a key item. I don't know what it is. Apparently, the reference is still there, but they got rid of it. Again, it is what it is. What company says is, well, it's for the modern audience. You know that story. Another one is that, yes, Sid will not have a cigar anymore. Again, for me, to some extent, I know people probably not going to be happy with what I'm going to give my opinion about, but it's not really a big deal to some extent. Do I see Final Fantasy as a fan service game? Not so much, but yeah, there are some minor fan service to some extent to all out Final Fantasy game, but very minor. When it comes to the cigar, maybe it is part of Sid, but again, I don't know what's going on. So B, maybe smoking's bad. I don't smoke, so that's why I don't really care that much. And then of course, the best part is, yeah, there is a demo. You finish that demo, you get some bonus that they can transfer to the main game. The game's gonna come out in the end of February 29th. I know leap year, but it is what it is. So thoughts about it? I think it's great. I'm not really a fan of Final Fantasy VII, but I know the big history about that game. During the PS1, the reason to get a PlayStation is Final Fantasy. 1997 gave PlayStation a reason to get their console because of that game. Guilty, I did the same thing too. The game is asked for what it is. Remake even made it better. So you gotta give props for Square Enix about this game. So new features, new mini game, new stuff that's not in the original. Yeah, they had to do some adjustment, but like I said, they removed some certain elements. And then of course, during the Gold Saucer mini game, apparently for whatever reason, they got rid of the snowboard. I don't know the reason. Maybe it's just hard to do it in a remake version. I don't know. But they offer a lot of stuff for this game, and for $70, you're probably gonna get your buck out of it. It's probably gonna be a long game, and it's supposed to be it's the same as what disc do for the PlayStation. Whatever it is, it is. I mean, there even even new stories that's not on the PlayStation version. Again, remember, Final Fantasy VII Remake or Rebirth is not just quote unquote a remake. It's supposed to be another timeline, another story. What did happen? What is the real story about this game? You just have to find out. So anyway, that is my thoughts on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth State of Play. I gotta say it was pretty good. Props to Square Enix, and guarantee it's probably gonna be, I hate to say it, much fun to play than Final Fantasy 16, but it's a different story there. So anyway, with that, I'll see you guys later.